Okay, so in this video, I want to talk about a subject that some people may not find comfortable. Some of you may not like what I'm about to say, which is fine. This is just a disclaimer, so proceed at your own risk. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about the ongoing war in Ukraine and how it's a reflection of a previous conflict. This war was manufactured and engineered by the Anglo-American Empire, or as I call it, the Atlanticists. It is a repeat of what happened in the 1930s. What the Atlanticists are attempting to do to Russia is exactly what they did to Germany. This is 1939 all over again. Just replace Danzig with Donbass, Poland with Ukraine, and Germany with Russia. It's from the same playbook. The Polish government in 1939 was a proxy of the UK and was used to antagonize Germany by persecuting the German population in the free city of Danzig and ordered not to negotiate with Berlin, similar to how Kiev has been treating the residents of Donbass. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, but the Nazis and AH, they were so evil, right? Okay, who said that? Your history teacher? And who told your history teacher? The historians who wrote the history books after the war. What is it they say? The first casualty of war is the truth. Yes, that is 100% accurate. That cannot be stressed enough. History is absolutely written by the victors. That privilege is one of the spoils of war. So let's look at the lies that were being told about AH in the 30s and during the war and after. Did these lies stop when the war ended? No. They intensified. AH was strawmanned, so much so that a new religion was created, in which he became the devil. The 6 million are the Redeemer, the gas chamber is the cross, and the are God. Think about it. You can deny the existence of God publicly without any repercussions. Now try denying the publicly and see what happens. Yeah, it goes without saying. You get labeled a heretic and risk losing your job, and in some countries, you can even go to prison. So this is the new state religion. So let's fast forward to today, and let's imagine for a second that Russia is defeated. Ukrainian forces are marching through Kiev, along with a NATO parade, as they celebrate VR Day. Victory in Russia. How do you think the history books will be written? How will Putin and the Russian people be depicted? How will the occupiers treat the Russians? The Atlanticists are absolutely furious with how Russia has been so successful, not only in the battlefield, but economically. They have circumvented the global financial system and are self-sufficient. Plus, they are causing a global rebellion against the Anglo-American Empire. So imagine all the hate and anger that's building up in Washington and London. They want to make Russia pay for this. They will seek revenge. They have the spirit of the devil in them. So if they were ever able to express this following a military victory, the destruction and acts of vengeance would be monumental. Just look at what they did in World War II. Yet we're supposed to believe they were the good side. They were the villain then, as they are now. They lied about Germany and AH then, just as they are lying about Russia and Putin now. It's the exact same scenario playing out. History repeating itself yet again. The gas chambers, the 6 million, the death camps, all fabrications in order to shift the blame onto the vanquished and away from the true war criminals in London and DC, who committed actual war crimes, which have been largely erased and forgotten. So they forced Russia into firing the first shot, backing Putin into a corner, as they did with AH and Germany, and then accused Germany of an unprovoked invasion of Poland, condemning them as the villain. It was projection then, just as it is today, as they vilify Russia and accuse them of war crimes and other nefarious behavior, when it is in fact the DC-led collective West that is acting despotically. All because Germany refused to be looted by the Atlanticists and their usurious banking scheme. AH's only crime was setting up an independent financial system, free from debt, allowing for no unemployment and no interest, that built Germany into a prosperous nation where all its citizens benefited. He closed all the Masonic lodges and made Freemasonry illegal, while exposing the true nature of these secret and subversive networks. One of the first things the Germans did when they captured a city was to confiscate all the materials from the Masonic lodges. This was all sent back to Berlin, where it was put on display for everyone to see the twisted ideology and behavior of the Freemasons. AH freed the German people, and Germany went from the poorest country in Europe to the richest in just a couple of years. How dare he do this? Oh, the horror. He actually cared about the people. He improved their lives at the expense of the parasitic elites in London and New York, who had succeeded in forcing Germany to be pillaged following the end of World War I. The Atlanticist oligarchs, the bankers, the industrialists, or the robber barons were picking at the carcass of Germany until the NSDAP kicked them out. As what happened in Russia during the 90s. And who came along? Putin. And what a surprise, he's the new AH. The new tyrannical autocrat, an evil dictator determined to oppress everyone and build an empire to satisfy his ego. The only people he oppressed are the oligarchs, the greedy robber barons, who care nothing for the people except to exploit them. Of course, they love democracy because it gives them freedom. Freedom to quite literally buy the government and use it for their own benefit at the expense of the general population. So yes, Putin is a threat to freedom. The freedom of these parasites to suck the nation dry of all its wealth, leaving absolutely nothing but desolation. AH had undermined and jeopardized the entire global financial system. That is why the Atlanticists went to war. Not because they wanted to save Europe from tyranny. AH was only a threat to the bankers. So yes, in that sense, he was tyrannical. He took away the freedom of the oligarchs. There's a book titled Roosevelt and Churchill, A Friendship That Saved the World. Yes, saved the world for the globalist cabal of Malthusian elites and their usury. This proxy war against Russia is exposing the truth about who the real villains are and which side they're on. Not only in the present day, but going back over 100 years. A leopard doesn't change its spots. The Atlanticists are the aggressors today, as they were in World War II, and for the same reasons. World dominance. We can see how evil and despotic they are now, yet they are somehow the good guys in the 1940s, really. It's widely accepted that every war of the 20th century and after was orchestrated by the Anglo-American Empire for nothing more than greed. Vietnam, Iraq, and all other wars in the Middle East. Yet we're supposed to believe World War II is the exception? Give me a break.
I love democracy. I love the Republic.